Some sort of drama happening today. Squirrel's just mad. We're fostering a kitten briefly. Just, it needs a little humanizing. It was a feral kitten, and it takes to being petted okay. It's a sibling of that one that I had in a previous video here. These cats have homes, just not yet. And this one's gonna be a barn cat, probably, with only like moderate human interaction and affection. So like, I don't want it to go totally wild. I'd rather it be more sociable than wild. He or she. So cute. Let the people see what you look like. Hey, what's going on? Look up. Oh yeah. This is the sibling of the cat I was calling Sphinx. That was in a previous video. What video was that? Don't know, you gotta watch more. Oh, sorry, kitty. This cat is so cute. I mean, what? Where'd you come from, cutie? Like a Pixar character. When you see you, oh my goodness. This cat. This is one of those cats that just like surprises you one day. You're like, where'd you get all those medals? And they're all like from most amazing cat contest. That's how great you are. You're so cute. But once again, this cat will not eat or drink anything. What the heck? Don't we love to do hunger strikes in my family? Come on. Eat some food. All you do is escape. It's wild. They're calling this cat Talus. T-A-L-U-S, like loose rock on a diagonal plane. Usually fallen from a foothill or a mesa. But at Cottonwood Gulch last summer, the cat there, who was like 20 years old and amazing and only had one eye, was named Talus and had really similar markings to this cat. I'm like, wow, that's a wild coincidence. And the people that named it this weren't at all associated with Cottonwood Gulch. So I am told. Okay, this is kind of like in response to a viewer or fan request, subscriber request. Have I ever responded to a subscriber request in this way? I don't know. I sent my sister some books once. Hi, Julie, if you're still watching. This request said John Steinbeck, and I was like, I don't really have a John Steinbeck section, but I pulled these books from literally 4 different sections. Grapes of Wrath from Paperback Literary Fiction. This is part of the Paperback Project. I will read this. I've never read it. It's one of my literary blind spots, I feel, with Huck Finn. Just somewhere I'm like, that's crazy, I haven't read that. Part I kind of feel like I have. I'm really familiar with the movie, and so this is going to be good to read. Nice old copy. Old cover tear, what do you do? You know, I wonder if that's a Paul Bacon cover. That's a designer I came across recently. His thing was put a word big, the title big, the author big, and then find one symbolic image. Like he did that famous cover for Catch-22, complete and unabridged. Let's see. It says inside that the cover is a detail from a painting by John Grath, but this still shows the work of a designer, and it's just the sort of designer in the thumbnail-like era of Paul Bacon, who did the Catch-22 and the Zen in the Art cover, and what else? Portnoy's Complaint, the original one of Jaws, which was similar to the famous one, but just not painted, black and white. Artists often go uncredited, but I would bet money this was a Paul Bacon jam, and that's somebody you can read about. He really did kind of create a dominant style, or popularize a dominant style that is not my favorite among designers. I mean, it's just like too simple. It just seems like a wasted opportunity to me. I'm like, do more stuff. Like, isn't the painted Jaws cover better than your old cover? Yeah, dude, it is. Ultimately, I think I'm more of a maximalist than a minimalist. His original Jaws cover was called, someone wrote that it was disliked among insiders because they thought it looked like a penis with teeth. Sorry, Brisbane. She's old-fashioned. She did not appreciate the joke. I thought you all should share in her disapproving glances. I've got this in nonfiction that I read a lot. My old boss at the sandwich shop in Alaska used to always say, I traveled with a dog named Jersey. I'm going to write a book called Travels with Jersey. And that guy did actually have some really interesting adventures. He rafted like all of like these northern rivers, and he had a dog, and he built his raft himself, and he ended up as the sandwich shop owner in Kasilof, Alaska, and he was a pretty like hardline boss. But I called in sick one time, and I was really sick. I was like, I can't do it. I feel like horrible. And he's all, okay, you're fired. I'm like, but I'm so excited about your trip and your stories and your book. Doesn't matter. The human connection in a business context is like a lie, ultimately. We're a family. But Travels with Charlie, funny book, interesting book, meaningful, thoughtful, cool book. Driving across America. I like these sorts of books like Blue Highways or whatever. Yeah, that's a good one. Blue Highways. Where you're or on the road, or whatever. Into the wild, you want to go nonfiction. On the road's kind of nonfiction. Autofiction. But this one is him traveling across America with his dog, which sounds picturesque, but he describes his dog like a really fancy French poodle, and so that's like kind of funny. But he goes to like school integrations, and I remember this one interesting chapter where he stays in a hotel room whose trash can hasn't been emptied, and then he like susses out who these people were and thinks about their lives and pieces it together novelistically. It's great. Found magazine reprinted it, and I can totally see why. Their very first issue, which I still have. I'm not getting it out though, because they're horizontal with books on top of them. Some of those books. East of Eden. I've always wanted to read this. I wanted to call this column I wrote for years that the editors called Turquoise Tales. I wanted to call it East of Albuquerque, which I thought was such a better name. But I would have been riffing off of a book I haven't even read. Anna Wallace Johnson, who is a good booktuber, loves this book and Steinbeck, and speaks highly of this one and of it, reading it as a moving, emotional experience. I will read it. I really like the kind of writer that Steinbeck was. I feel like I've had this like battle in myself about artist versus activist at times, and because I'm like, what is the best way to like be in the world, And ultimately, I have chosen art over activism, but I have ulterior motives and a long goal, and that is to become successful and have a larger platform, to be a loudmouth and try significant experiments. I mean, Hunter S. Thompson almost became mayor of a town, and sometimes people just have like a cool cause. Think of like what Tippi Hedren did for like helping Vietnamese women have jobs. I mean, what? That's crazy. She said, I'm gonna create this template of nail salons. I don't currently have a copy of Mice and Men, which is kind of funny, but I do have this long former school. Man, the Manzano librarian is just so mean to ex-books. If they're discarded, if they're dead to the library, they're dead to the world. Don't put these big gashes on them. The students might want to collect these beautiful books. Well, no. I love that this guy used his success. He was already a successful writer when he wrote The Grapes of Wrath. And he just like was a writer with a conscience, and he wrote about protests and union stuff, and I wish I was more well read in Steinbeck. But what do you do? I've read Of Mice and Men, that was assigned in school. I'm like really familiar with the story of The Grapes of Wrath. In fact, this guy was on my mind today because I just rewatched this movie, and it's crazy. They go through this New Mexico town that there's a chapter about in my book, and it doesn't quite make sense geographically with the story of their journey. I'm like, suddenly you're heading south through the Sandia Mountains. But it's a really interesting movie. I felt like I was able to make a really nuanced critique of it this time around. Because, well, it's kind of interesting. I think pairing the story of The Grapes of Wrath with the story of Tobacco Road is probably a good one, because reality check to the Okies, it ain't your ancient land or anything like that. Jode's crying over what like one generation before had literally been an area called Indian Territory, What was Oklahoma's previous name? Indian Territory. It was land promised to those people. And honestly, reading the histories of Oklahoma's initial land grabs, it's like the epitome of gauche behavior. Gauche. I mean, that whole Sooner thing, starting guns fired, people